jumbo. I mean, when you're sick, you feel it. When you're mad, you feel it. When you're happy, you feel it. When you're sad, you feel it. When you're excited, you feel it. When you're nervous, you feel it. When you're hungry, you feel it. Right? When you're anxious, you feel it. Right? I mean, every part of component of our life, when something is going on, we feel it. Now, mind you, your spirit is involved in all of it, but where we tend to disconnect, and this is the difference between being broken and broken apart. I don't want to rush. There's a difference. If I'm broken apart, I'm disconnected. I'm no longer a part of. I can't benefit from being a part of something, even though I'm broken. If I've been cut off, right? It's completely different. That brokenness is a brokenness that brings you sorrow, brings you sadness for another completely different reason. That's because your inner man is just completely disjointed. Your spirit is disjointed, your emotions is disjointed, so we find things to keep ourselves intoxicated. Food, liquor, cigarettes, sex, shopping, trips, money, clothes, parties, sleeping, television, movies, bike riding, tennis, children, all kinds of things we utilize to keep us intoxicated. You see? But the Word of God says that in order to serve Him, we have to operate from a sober mind. That means a mind that is not intoxicated. He says, because without a mind, it's impossible to serve Him. Well, where's your mind? In your soul. What does your soul consist of? Your mind, your will, your emotions, your feelings. So if nothing is going on in your feeling realm, ain't nothing going on in your soul realm. And probably ain't nothing real going on in your spirit realm. Question? I'll give you the answer on that. It's in the same area. Catch your question. Catch your question. Go ahead.
What kind of things where, like, for example, if you are anxious, you are nervous, you are excited, but you know, like, what are you? Like, where, you know, be nervous, but feel nervous. And for example, for me, there's times where, like, I go to the doctor, they ask me if I'm nervous, I say no, my heart rate is good.
Well, okay. Okay, so watch this. So, what's your question? You said what about, or are you saying?
That counts for, I guess, like when you're doing something, or when you're, I guess, spending time with the Lord, praying to the Lord, asking the Lord, whatever it is, you don't necessarily need to feel it, but it's there.
Yeah, watch this. Watch this. So one cannot be aware of it from the perspective that you are aware of it all the time. And let me make that clear. It is impossible, almost impossible, not to be aware of what's going on with it. What occurs is a thing becomes so common, we live in it so commonly that it becomes normal. So now we are unaware of what it is because it's so common that it's become the norm. But now, how do you now know, how do you now prove that, preacher? Because when you no longer operate that way, you feel abnormal. If a person is always nervous, when they're not nervous, they feel abnormal. When a person is fearful all the time, and then they're at a place where they're not fearful, today was really a good day. I don't know, something's different. I felt different. I didn't feel like I normally feel. God gave us tied our emotional realm to our thought realm because that's our imagination realm. And our imagination realm is tied to our spirit realm because your spirit you can't see. So whatever God says or God speaks or gets inside of us has to go directly to our imagination realm, which is our thinking realm. And our thinking realm immediately triggers emotion. Immediately. That's why the Word of God tells us in 2 Corinthians to cast down imagination. Right? Because they're going to trigger some feelings. And those feelings are going to trigger some decisions. And those decisions are going to trigger some actions. And those actions are going to lead to something. So I hear what you're saying. I just want you to know, yes, it does count. Yet in the same instance, in the accounting, what I'm saying is that one may not recognize those things because one is living in those things. Okay, watch this. Here's what I'm saying. It said, thank you, it said that majority of people, probably 60–70% of people across the planet that's here now, ever been here, is afraid of public speaking.
More so than death.
Huh?
So more so than death.
Yeah, see? Afraid of public speaking. So watch this. They are in a perpetual state of fear when it comes to public speaking. So now watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Nobody invited me to speak publicly, so I'm not nervous in that. I'm not operating nervously at the moment. But when I head towards public speaking, I'm so used to being nervous that I don't even know I'm nervous. So you see how it can be situational. It's not like just playing perpetual. Like, I mean, that person is psychotic. If they're nervous about everything all the time, that person is psychotic, right? But people can be nervous about situational matters. And whenever that situation comes up, they're nervous, or they're fearful, or they're angry, or they're sad, or they're anxious because of that situation. So since that's the case, they perpetually operate that way when they get in a situation. So then I don't know that I'm that way. I don't know I'm that way in those situations until I start operating, and then I see I'm that way. And so when I operate and see I'm that way, the next thing for me to do is to now recognize I'm that way. I have to say I'm that way because I thought I wasn't that way until I started operating and saw I was that way. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So once I'm listening.
What's wrong with it? You don't know some of the behaviors that you do. So it's like, oh, that's crazy. I guess that's out. So bad that, but it's just the other time. On the behavior, but you feel that transition of like being not stressed out, but everybody else is not.
Right. So I want to keep this in context of what we're talking about because I don't want us to get into teaching about being stressed out or not or things. I mean, so I'm going to keep this conversation relative. So here's so in keeping it relative, one can operate in what is abnormal and make it normality situational. You understand? So yet in that, the Holy Spirit is still faithful to those that are believers, and those that are not believers, God is still faithful. If you're going to know, you have the opportunity to know that you're operating abnormal. As you just mentioned, someone's going to say, hey, check this out. Why are you snapping off? Like you said in the conversation you had yesterday. What you snapping off about? They're like, I'm not snapping off. So is it that they snapping off, or is it the person that's saying they're snapping off? Which one is it? Who is it? You see, so who's operating in the point of abnormality? Is it the one that's doing the speaking, or the one that's spoken to? You understand what I'm saying? See? So watch this. So you all heard me use this example over and over again. I'm talking about being broken heart and crushed in spirit, and the Lord being near them, and according to Psalm 147, the Lord healing them. Okay? Right? So being broken is better. So watch this. My grandmother died. I got a phone call. I got up on Saturday morning. I went over to check on her because my mother and uncle said she died. I went over to check on her because that's their mother, and they were really somewhat afraid to go and confirm it. I got up, my wife got up, we went over to check on my grandmother. My grandmother had died overnight. She was indeed dead. We called the ambulance. Ambulance said, cover her up till we get there. If she warms back up, then her blood pressure just dropped low so you couldn't feel a heartbeat. But if she doesn't, then we'll be there and we will remove her. Told that to my mother, who was crying. Told it to my uncle, who was crying. Now, so we have to leave. Why? Because we have to go and open our business. So we leave to go open our business. So I have to leave my mother, who was distraught because her mother died, and my uncle, because his mother died. I have to leave and go open my business. Why? Because I still have ministry to do in the business. Now, is the ministry and the business more important than my grandmother dying and how my mother and uncle feel? Absolutely it is. God said he is the God of the living and not the God of the dead. My grandmother's in glory. That's just a piece of clay. And they're going to grieve no matter if I stay, they're going to grieve. If I go, they're going to grieve. Let them grieve. Let's go over and let's deal with the people that are alive that God is reaching towards. Let's go and deal with that. Are y'all hear what I'm saying? See, but here's the most normal. Normal is, oh, somebody died, I need to stay. Somebody's sick, I gotta stay. Somebody's sad, I gotta stay. Somebody angry, I can't go. Listen. Do we not remember Matthew chapter 6 to tell us, if you're worrying, can you add 1 minute to your life? Can you change anything by you being there that you couldn't change if you weren't there? Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Hear what I'm saying? Whose emotions are you going to follow? There was an example in the Word of God where the man of God was saying, listen, I'm inviting you out to this thing. And somebody said, listen, I got to go back home and bury my dead. And I was like, what? Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. That don't make sense. How can somebody dead bury somebody dead? You dead if you're not in me. If you're operating, yes, I know what you feel in your emotions. I know what you feel in your emotions. But if you're operating from a broken heart and a crushed spirit, you know what you feel now is nothing to what you're going to feel if you don't fulfill what it is that I told you to fulfill. In a week, that'll be past and it'll be gone. But you open the door to the enemy, and he'll have you operating like you completely broken off from me. Matter of fact, let's go there. Go to John 15. Let's go there. Let's go there. You all go there. I want to read Hosea 10:12. It says, sow for yourselves righteousness. Reap steadfast love. Break up your fallow ground. For it is time to seek the Lord, that he may come and rain righteousness upon you. Okay? Sow for your self-righteousness. Reap steadfast love. Break up your fallow ground. Now, it didn't say break up fallow ground. It said break up your fallow ground. Somebody want to tell me what the word follow means? Or fallow? F-A-L-L-O-W? You got a dictionary right there. You know what it means, buddy? Yeah. Follow direction. Well, that's what it means to follow directions, buddy. That's for sure. Somebody want to look it up? What does the word mean? What does fallow ground? Break up your fallow ground. Could you say that louder, please?
Drought and harrow did not sound for a period in order to restore its activity as part of the crop rotation until the Lord sent dust to that.
So is ground that has been plowed, I received Jesus. I got the Holy Spirit. I got the Holy Spirit. But here's the difference. I haven't sown anything anyway. So the ground is non-productive. It's not producing anything. It's hard, resistant, brittle to produce what it's supposed to produce. And the only way to make it produce it is that you break it up yourself. That means you make a decision that you're going to allow your heart to be broken and your spirit to be crushed. Meaning that you're going to go through the genuine, authentic feelings that come with what it means to be sorry and saddened and disappointed and heavy because you didn't do what the Lord said do. You're not living the way He said live. So listen to John 15. It says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Any branch in me that does not bear much fruit, that stops bearing, He cuts away, trims off, takes away. Y'all hear that? Huh? Let's amplify. Huh? So y'all hear that? Hear that? He said, when you stop bearing fruit, He cuts you off. He takes it away. Now that's what it means to be broken off. When you start living in such a way that you feel, okay, I can make my own decisions, have my own choices, have my own options, take my own actions. I can do what I want because I feel like I want to, or not do it because I don't feel like I want to. Say it because I feel like I want to. Don't say it because I don't feel like I want to. Have my responsibilities because I should, or don't do it because I don't feel like I have to. You see, the Word of God says if we ought not think of ourselves more highly than what we ought to. It also means don't think of yourself any lower, but it says don't think than you ought to, don't think something higher than you ought to. So watch this. If somebody is sick, and I'm not saying if a person is sick and they don't leave them by themselves. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if they're sick and they don't need anybody around, pray and keep going. If they're in the hospital and they got people around them, leave them in the hospital. If a person is sad and feeling like to kill himself, leave them. My point is this, is that we let the enemy cause us to operate through ways we should not operate in. And then when things come on us, we wonder why things came on us. Why we suffer through the things we suffer through. Because we're trying to be God. That's the bottom line. That's the real deal. At that point, we're no longer bearing fruit. God calls fruit obedience. He calls it obedience. So He goes on to say, And he cleanses and repeatedly prunes every branch that continues to bear fruit. Why? To make it bear more and richer and more excellent fruit. So when we operate with, from a place of brokenness in Him. We're making adjustments. We're adapting our thinking. Because unless you make some adjustments in your soul is wrong, in your emotions, in your thinking, in your imagination, you're not going to make any changes. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying to you? I mean, something different got to happen with it. If we don't change our thinking, we're not going to change our actions. We're not. And we can say, I don't know why I keep going through this. I want to do right, but I can't seem to do it. I start and I stop it because you haven't changed your thinking. You're letting your emotions that operate with you from a place from where before you got with God versus reeling those things in by casting down imagination. They try to exalt themselves above your knowledge of Jesus Christ in your life. So when you cast those the imaginations down, so will your emotions be cast down. And when those emotions are cast down, now all of a sudden your feelings are cast down. Now you begin to make decisions that are more in line with one who belongs to God. Let's finish this out, and then we'll bring it in. He says he cleanses and repeatedly prunes every branch that continues to bear fruit. Now watch this. Before weeks, he said the ones that don't bear fruit, that's meaning stop bearing fruit. Meaning, remember we taught you all about the law of abundance. Remember that? That the abundance is what percent? 51%. So what you do 51% of the time, that's really who you are, that's where you are. Right? That's part of the law of abundance. That's where you are. So if there are situations come up in your life and you have the Spirit of God in you and you make the wrong choice, you operate outside of being led by the Spirit of God, by being prompted by the Spirit of God, what He says to do. If you do that 51% of the time, you are no longer bearing fruit. We should have gotten to the point where you are starting to no longer bear fruit. Because so when you don't bear fruit, you get cut off. But if you are bearing fruit, even if you're bearing fruit 51% of the time, not 52, 53, but you are bearing fruit, you're working to do what He says, actively participating in what He says to do, 51% of the time. Fruit isn't always something that happens out here that somebody else benefits from, meaning they can tangibly have himself. Fruit can be, is mainly, I hear the Holy Spirit, is mainly the Word of God says, love ye one another the way that I have what? Loved you. Hebrews 10:24. How can we spur one another up to love and to do good works, right? If I see that you're having a hard day, and my life will speak to you and make you feel better, whether that's rebuke, correction, or exhortation, then my life is bearing fruit. When things come against me, and I have reason, I could be sad, or be angry, or be depressed or disappointed, but I don't allow it because I lean more into the Word and the Spirit of God. I'm bearing fruit. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? So when you bear fruit, here's what, watch this. He says He cleanses and repeatedly prunes every branch that continues to bear fruit to make it bear more and richer and more excellent fruit. So watch this. Even though you're bearing fruit, you're still getting cut. So watch this. Sometimes we make decisions to do the opposite of what God says is leading us and prompting us to do. Because if we think it's going to make us feel better, you're going to make it better, no, you're going to get cut off. It doesn't stop you from being cut. Now you get cut off. Versus working to do what he says and what he's leading you to do, and him cutting on you, cutting things off of you, which is what we want, the stuff that makes us not want to do what he says, not want to be obedient, not live for him, not follow him, not honor him. We want that cut off. But the only way to have that be cut off is to operate with it on us. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? You have to operate with it on you in order for it to be cut off. And when it's cut off of you, while you're operating with it on you, you now begin to bear more fruit and see better results. So we'll stop there for now. We'll stop there. I mean, it's so important that we understand that his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. His ways are higher than our ways. And that we have to begin to operate from his ways that are higher than our ways, and his thoughts that are higher than our thoughts. We have to begin to operate. We have to. Are y'all hearing me? I mean, I really want y'all to be hearing what we're saying. Because this circle thing that believers have come across to continually do the same thing over and over again, missing over and over again, and then excuses over and over again, cover up over and over again, fall into the same thing over and over again the same way. I mean, it is absolutely unnecessary. And it's really unacceptable.